All right, what is going on, guys? Got another breakdown for UFC Vegas 70. Probably my last one for this card before I move on to 285. And another really fun fight. This card, I'm actually really looking forward to it. It's one of the better Apex cards we've had, at least in a while. But yeah, another fun prelim fight between Rafael Alves taking on Nurullo Aliev. And Aliev's UFC debut. He's the first UFC fighter from Tajikistan coming in with a fair amount of polish, was champ in Eagle FC. But in terms of physicals, Alev's going to have a 4 inch advantage in reach. He's also 2 inches taller. So I guess I'll start with him. Like I said, was champ with Eagle FC, and he's fought some quality opponents. I'm not too familiar with all of these fighters name wise, but I've watched as many of these fights I can watch, and the records you can see they're pretty good, and he has been battle tested in these fights, but the Khabib comparisons are like everywhere. It's a little ridiculous, but I mean, look, the guy does fight a lot like Khabib, and he kind of looks like him too. So I guess that has a lot to do with it. But you look up anything on this guy, and it's just like they're literally calling him the next Khabib, and it's like I think he's got to do a lot more to do that. But you know, I think that kind of explains what he's going to look to do. It's all going to be takedown dependent. His striking is not very good. He's there to get hit. I mean, it's not like it's terrible. It's a work in progress. He's only 23, but it's all pressuring forward to get the takedown, and then he just sits in guard and just picks his spots with elbows. Jeez, can't talk. But yeah, against Josh Wick, who his parents came so close to giving him the absolute perfect name for a fighter, but yeah, against him, he just absolutely rains ground and pound and ends up getting him out of there in the first round. So again, it looks like he's progressing fairly well. He's got a tough test, and I think when you get a tough opponent like this, when the UFC matches a newcomer up with somebody like Rafael Alves, who's very game, has a solid win. I was gonna say a couple because I think it's only one win with the promotion, but he's been in some very fun scraps. He's shown promise against high level competition. You know they're not giving him a can here; they're giving him a tough fighter, and a lot of times that kind of tells you what the promotion thinks of this guy. They think he has a lot of upward mobility. But yeah, it's all going to come down to can he get the takedown, which he's not going to give up. He's going to do it the whole time. He can definitely chain wrestle. And yeah, he's definitely going to be looking to get this fight to the ground. But for Rafael Alves, just has had a really fun UFC run. He's only 1-2, but he's shown a lot of promise in these fights. Ended up dropping Demir's Magulov early on, but then he gets largely controlled in the ground in that one. Did pick up a really nice win over Mark Jacasey, who is putting it all together over the last couple years. He stunned him pretty bad and then just immediately jumps on a guillotine. He does that. He's done that in a few of his fights. He's very good at immediately transitioning into the submission, just snatching the neck up as soon as he gets his opponent stunned. And against Drew Dober, hit him with some really nice shots. That's always the thing with Alves. Everything he lands is solid. And yeah, hit him with like a beautiful left hook, but wasn't enough. Drew Dober's got one of the best chins out there. He's really good at just taking a punch and just staying in your face, and he eventually puts him away in the third round. But stylistically, Alves very twitchy, like one of those guys, and it kind of wears on his gas tank because of that. But everything he throws is solid. The kicking game is really good. He could just pull these insane kicks out of nowhere, just no setup, and just have like a roundhouse kick that just misses. He's one of those types of guys. But again, all of that wears on the gas tank, so that's going to be a concern in this fight. But in terms of ground game, he's got a good submission game. He's a threat off of his back, but in some of these fights, he, to his detriment, I think, just kind of tries to get the submission instead of trying to get up. He should definitely be trying to get up if he gets taken down in this one right away. But yeah, he has done that in the past. Just looks for the submission, and he's yet to get it from his back in the UFC. He's picked it up in the regional scene before, but I don't know that might be. I mean, we don't know. We don't know if Alev's been tested that way, but I just gotta imagine that this guy is gonna be tough to submit from your back. So it'd be good to see if he can get up. But yeah, always dangerous on the feet for Alves. The other thing I don't like though is just volume. If he doesn't land the perfect shot to get him out of there, he tends to get outworked in these fights, and his cardio tends to fade sometimes too. I think it's worse when he fights at featherweight. It shouldn't be as bad at lightweight, but again, just because of all the movements and just all these twitchy muscle movements, he gets tired pretty easily. I don't want to say he has like horrible cardio, but again, it's such a high pace that he keeps. So we look at the odds here, and Aliev is at a -180 favorite. The money has been trickling in on Alves all week, but I am gonna side with Aliev. I really did give this one a long look. I wanted to pick Alves as an underdog, but when it comes down to it, you just can't look for value, and I think more often than not, we're trying to force value, I should say, but more often than not, like Alves is just gonna not have the volume to win a decision, first of all, and just the way he fights is gonna wear on his gas tank. It's just really gonna be dependent on him getting the finish. So I think if you're gonna go with Alves, Alves inside the distance, but I do think that Aliv's gonna be able to get these takedowns and keep him on the ground when he does get them and end up winning the round that way, because even if it's like a slower round and Alves is winning on the feet, it's not like he's going to be up like 30 strikes to the point where if Aliev takes him down, he might steal the round. I think that it's just going to be like 5 or 6 strikes on the feet from Alves, even if they're really nice, and then Aliev takes him down and just sits in guard and just lands like maybe like 20 elbows or ground and pound strikes and just wins these rounds. I think that's the way it's going to go. Like, there's going to be flashes for Alves, but I think that Aliev is eventually going to get the takedowns and either get the ground and pound knockout, or I would say by decision is the most likely outcome. But yeah, again, I would love to pick Alves if he wins. That'd be cool. I'm kind of like rooting for him. But in terms of a betting perspective, I don't know. I've haven't decided what I want to do with this fight yet. I actually might bet it because the value I think is pretty good. But I also I'm gonna put some respect on Alves' name, so that's the only thing giving me pause. But again, I just think on paper more often than not, Aliev gets this fight to the ground and controls him, wears on his gas tank. There's just a couple more things in his favor, though. Alves is definitely live here, especially inside the distance. So, thanks for watching, guys. Sure to subscribe and take it easy.